Do you want to successfully complete the CompTIA A plus Core 2 exam? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, where thousands of students have found their path to exam success. Our website provides completely free access to over 300 practice questions with detailed explanations and comprehensive study guides covering every exam objective. Everything you need for success on your first attempt for free. In this video, we will cover questions from operating systems, security, software, troubleshooting, operational procedures, and memory management. So, let's get started. 1. A company is upgrading 50 computers from Windows 10 Home to an edition that supports domain joining. The IT team wants to preserve all user data and installed applications during this process. What is the most efficient approach? A. Perform a clean installation of Windows 10 Pro, then restore user data from backups. B. Clone the drives to new computers with Windows 10 Pro pre-installed. C. Perform in-place upgrades from Windows 10 Home to Windows 10 Pro. D. Install Windows 10 Pro in a dual boot configuration. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Perform in-place upgrades from Windows 10 Home to Windows 10 Pro. Explanation: option C is correct because an in-place upgrade from Windows 10 Home to Pro preserves all apps, settings, and user data while adding the Pro features needed for domain joining. This is specifically supported and is the most efficient approach. Option A, perform a clean installation of Windows 10 Pro, then restore user data from backups, is incorrect because clean installations erase all apps and settings, requiring significant time to reinstall applications and restore data. Option B, clone the drives to new computers with Windows 10 Pro pre-installed, is incorrect because cloning to new computers is unnecessary when in-place upgrades are supported and would require purchasing new hardware. Option D, install Windows 10 Pro in a dual boot configuration, is incorrect because a dual boot configuration would require users to switch between OS versions and wouldn't integrate the computers into the domain. 2. A data scientist is building a workstation for machine learning projects that will utilize 512 GB of RAM. Which Windows 10 edition should they choose? A. Windows 10 Home. B. Windows 10 Pro. C. Windows 10 Pro for workstations. D. Any edition will support this amount of RAM. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Windows 10 Pro for workstations. Explanation: option C is correct because Windows 10 Pro for workstations supports up to 6 TB of RAM and is specifically designed for high-performance computing scenarios like machine learning with large data sets. Option A, Windows 10 Home, is incorrect because Windows 10 Home has a maximum RAM limit of 128 GB, which is insufficient for the 512 GB requirement. Option B, Windows 10 Pro, is incorrect because while Windows 10 Pro supports up to 2 TB of RAM, which would be sufficient, Pro for workstations includes additional performance features beneficial for this type of workload. Option D, any edition will support this amount of RAM, is incorrect because Windows 10 Home wouldn't support 512 GB of RAM due to its 128 GB limitation. 3. A user has downloaded an APK file directly from a website rather than through the Google Play Store. Which of the following represents the best advice regarding this practice? A. This is safe as long as the website uses HTTPS encryption. B. This practice carries significant security risks and should be avoided unless necessary. C. The APK should be installed in developer mode for proper function. D. The file should be renamed before installation to improve security. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. This practice carries significant security risks and should be avoided unless necessary. Explanation. Option B is correct because installing apps from outside the official App Store, sideloading, bypasses the security screening that occurs on the Google Play Store. This significantly increases the risk of installing malicious software, as these apps haven't been vetted for security issues. Users should avoid this practice unless absolutely necessary, and the source is completely trusted. Option A, this is safe as long as the website uses HTTPS encryption, is incorrect, because while HTTPS encryption protects the download process from tampering in transit, it does nothing to verify the security or legitimacy of the APK file itself. A secure connection to a malicious website still delivers malicious content. Option C, the APK should be installed in developer mode for proper function, is incorrect because installing in developer mode doesn't provide any security benefits. In fact, developer mode can decrease device security by enabling features that bypass certain security restrictions. Option D, the file should be renamed before installation to improve security, is incorrect because renaming an APK file has no impact on its security. The contents and code of the application remain unchanged, regardless of the file name. 4. A security analyst suspects malware on a Windows computer based on unusual network behavior. Which command would best help identify which applications are making network connections? A. Ping tsuspiciousserver.com. B. ipconfig/displaydins. C. netstat. B. D. enslookup suspicious-server.com. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. netstat. B. Explanation. Option C is correct because netstat. B shows all active network connections and the executable program name responsible for each connection. This is exactly what's needed to identify potentially malicious applications making network connections. Option A, ping tsuspicious-server.com, is incorrect because ping tsuspicious-server.com only tests continuous connectivity to a specific server but doesn't show which application is communicating with it. Option B, ipconfig/displaydns, is incorrect because ipconfig/displaydns shows the DNS cache but doesn't relate entries to specific applications making connections. Option D, enslookup-suspicious-server.com, is incorrect because enslookup-suspicious-server.com only resolves a domain name to an IPA address, but doesn't provide information about which application is connecting to it. Five. A user is concerned about declining performance on their Windows 10 computer with a traditional hard drive. They've already checked for malware and updated Windows. Which Windows tool should you recommend to help improve disk performance? A. Disk cleanup followed by optimized drives. B. Resource monitor. C. Registry editor. D. Task scheduler. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Disk cleanup followed by optimized drives. Explanation. Option A is correct because disk cleanup, cleanmanga.exe, removes unnecessary files to free up space, and optimized drives, formerly disk defragmenter, defragui.exe, rearranges file fragments on traditional hard drives for better performance. Using these tools in sequence can significantly improve disk performance on mechanical hard drives. Option B, Resource Monitor, is incorrect because Resource Monitor shows detailed resource usage, but doesn't actually improve performance. It's a diagnostic tool rather than a solution. Option C, Registry Editor, is incorrect because Registry Editor, regedit.exe, is for modifying the Windows registry and shouldn't be used for general performance improvements due to its potential to cause system damage. Option D, Task Scheduler, is incorrect because Task Scheduler is for automating tasks to run at specified times and doesn't directly improve disk performance. 6. A workstation's networking capabilities suddenly stopped working after a Windows update. You check the Network Connections panel and don't see any network adapters listed. Which tool would be most effective for resolving this issue? A. Network and Sharing Center. B. Device Manager. C. Local Group Policy Editor. D. Security and Maintenance. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Device Manager. Explanation. Option B is correct because Device Manager, dvmgmt.msc, manages hardware devices and drivers, including network adapters. After a Windows update, network adapter issues are often caused by driver problems, which can be resolved in Device Manager by updating, rolling back, or reinstalling drivers. Option A, Network and Sharing Center, is incorrect because Network and Sharing Center shows network status and settings, but doesn't provide direct access to manage network adapter drivers. Option C, Local Group Policy Editor, is incorrect because Local Group Policy Editor, gpedit.msc, configures policy settings and wouldn't be the most direct tool for fixing network adapter driver issues. Option D, Security and Maintenance, is incorrect because Security and Maintenance, formerly Action Center, displays security and maintenance messages, but doesn't provide tools to fix network adapter driver problems. 7. A technician needs to verify that a recently installed hardware device has the correct driver installed. Which control panel utility should be used? A. Programs and Features. B. Device Manager. C. Devices and Printers. D. System. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Device Manager. Explanation. Option B is correct because Device Manager is specifically designed for managing hardware devices and their drivers. It shows all installed hardware, their status, including any problems indicated by warning icons, and provides options to update, roll back, or reinstall drivers. Option A, Programs and Features, is incorrect because Programs and Features manages installed software applications, not hardware drivers. Option C, Devices and Printers, is incorrect because while Devices and Printers shows connected devices, it focuses on user-oriented tasks, like setting default printers, rather than detailed driver management. Option D, System, is incorrect because System provides general system information and access to some system tools, but for specific driver verification, Device Manager, which can be accessed through System, is the direct utility needed. 8. A new employee needs to have their work email configured on their Windows 10 computer. Which control panel utility should the IT technician use to set this up? A. User Accounts. B. Internet Options. C. Mail. D. Credential Manager. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Mail. Explanation. Option C is correct because the Mail Control Panel utility is specifically designed to set up and configure email accounts for applications like Outlook. It allows creating email profiles, configuring mail, server settings, and managing data files. Option A is incorrect because user accounts manages Windows, user accounts and their permissions, not email configuration. Option B is incorrect because Internet Options primarily configures web browser and Internet connection settings, not email accounts. Option D is incorrect because while Credential Manager stores passwords and can include email credentials, it doesn't provide the functionality to configure email accounts and server settings. (9) A company wants all employees to use the same custom desktop background image featuring the company logo. Which Windows settings section would an IT technician use to configure this? A. System. About. B. Personalization. Background. C. Devices. Projecting to this PC. D. Accounts. Sync your settings. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Personalization. Background. Explanation. Option B is correct because personalization. Background is where you can change the desktop wallpaper by selecting a picture, solid color, or slideshow. Option A, System About, is incorrect because System About shows system information and lets you rename the PC, but doesn't control visual customization. Option C, Devices, projecting to this PC, is incorrect because Devices, projecting to this PC, manages wireless display connections, not desktop backgrounds. Option D, Accounts, sync your settings, is incorrect because Accounts. Sync your settings controls which settings sync and unsync across devices when using a Microsoft account, but isn't used to set a specific background image. 10. After installing multiple language packs on a Windows 10 computer, a user needs to set up different keyboard layouts for different languages. Which Windows settings category contains these options? A. Devices. Typing. B. Time and language. Language. C. Ease of access. Keyboard. D. Personalization. Start. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Time and language. Language. Explanation. Option B is correct because time and language. Language is where you manage installed languages and their keyboard layouts. After adding a language, you can add or remove keyboard layouts for each language. Option A, Devices Typing, is incorrect because Devices. Typing controls autocorrect and typing settings, but doesn't manage language-specific keyboard layouts. Option C, Ease of Access, Keyboard, is incorrect because Ease of Access. Keyboard contains accessibility options like sticky keys and filter keys, not language keyboard layouts. Option D, Personalization, Start, is incorrect because Personalization, Start customizes the Start menu appearance and behavior, not keyboard language settings. 11. An IT administrator needs to share a folder containing project files with specific users while restricting access to others on the same network. Which two settings must they configure to implement proper access control? A. Share permissions and NTFS permissions. B. Windows firewall rules and proxy settings. C. Workgroup name and computer name. D. VPN connection and DNS settings. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Share permissions and NTFS permissions. Explanation. Option A is correct because proper access control for shared folders requires configuring both share permissions, which control network access to the share, and NTFS permissions, which control file-level access regardless of how the files are accessed. Together, these allow granular control over who can access files and what they can do with them. Option B, Windows firewall rules and proxy settings, is incorrect because while firewall rules might control network access broadly, they don't provide user-specific file access control, and proxy settings relate to internet access, not local file sharing. Option C, workgroup name and computer name, is incorrect because workgroup and computer names identify systems on the network, but don't control access permissions to specific files. Option D, VPN connection and DNS settings, is incorrect because VPN connections and DNS settings relate to network connectivity, but don't provide file-level access control. 12. A user attempts to browse network resources in File Explorer by clicking on Network, but doesn't see any other computers, despite being connected to the company network. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. Network discovery is turned off. B. The computer is using a static IP address. C. The user's account lacks administrative privileges. D. Windows. Defender is blocking network browsing. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Network discovery is turned off. Explanation. Option A is correct because network discovery is the Windows feature that allows computers to find and be found on the network. When disabled, a computer can't see other devices in the network view of File Explorer, even though direct network connections might still work when using explicit addresses. Option B, the computer is using a static IP address, is incorrect because using a static IP address doesn't prevent discovering other computers on the network, as long as the IP configuration is valid for the network. Option C, the user's account lacks administrative privileges, is incorrect because standard user accounts can still browse network resources. Administrative privileges are only required for certain network configurations. Option D, Windows. Defender is blocking network browsing is incorrect because Windows Defender, antivirus, doesn't typically block network browsing functionality. This would be controlled by Windows Firewall or network discovery settings. 13. An IT administrator is deploying a financial application to a branch office with limited internet bandwidth. The application installation file is 4 GB and will need to be installed on 20 computers. Which distribution method would be most efficient? A. Email the installation file to each user. B. Have each user download the installer directly from the vendor website. C. Create a network share with the installation file for local access. D. Create installation USB drives for each user. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Create a network share with the installation file for local access. Explanation. Option C is correct because creating a network share allows all 20 computers to access the same installation file from the local network, requiring only one 4 GB download from the Internet. This minimizes Internet bandwidth usage while providing efficient deployment. Option A. Email. The installation file to each user is incorrect because emailing a 4 GB file to 20 users would likely exceed email attachment limits and would consume significant bandwidth if possible. Option B. Have each user download the installer directly from the vendor website is incorrect because having each user independently download the 4 GB file would require 80 GB of total downloads, unnecessarily consuming the limited Internet bandwidth. Option D. Create installation USB drives for each user is incorrect because creating 20 individual USB drives is time-consuming and resource-intensive compared to network distribution, although it would save bandwidth. 14. A user's computer has Windows 10 32-bit installed with 4 GB of physical RAM. They want to install a photo editing application that requires a minimum of 8 GB RAM. What is the most important upgrade recommendation? A. Upgrade to 8 GB RAM only. B. Upgrade to Windows 1064-bit first, then increase RAM to 8 GB or more. C. Install a faster CPU to compensate for the RAM limitation. D. Add an external USB drive for additional virtual memory. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Upgrade to Windows 1064-bit first, then increase RAM to 8 GB or more. Explanation: Option B is correct because Windows 10 32-bit can only use approximately 3.2 GB of RAM, even if more is physically installed. To utilize 8 GB or more of RAM, the system must first be upgraded to a 64-bit operating system, which requires a clean installation, followed by increasing the physical RAM. Option A, upgrade to 8 GB RAM only, is incorrect, because simply upgrading to 8 GB RAM without upgrading to a 64-bit OS would be wasteful, as the 32-bit OS cannot access more than 3.2 GB. Option C, install a faster CPU to compensate for the RAM limitation, is incorrect, because a faster CPU wouldn't address the fundamental memory limitations of a 32-bit operating system. Option D, add an external USB drive for additional virtual memory, is incorrect because while virtual memory can supplement RAM, it's significantly slower than physical RAM, and an external USB drive would be extremely slow for virtual memory, making it an ineffective solution. 15. A system administrator discovers a Windows computer running an operating system that has reached end of life, EOL, but must remain operational. Which of the following represents the most significant security concern? A. The computer will automatically shut down after the EOL date. B. No new features will be added to the operating system. C. Security vulnerabilities will no longer receive patches. D. Hardware drivers will immediately stop functioning. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: C. Security vulnerabilities will no longer receive patches. Explanation: Option C is correct because when an operating system reaches EOL, the vendor stops releasing security patches for newly discovered vulnerabilities, leaving the system increasingly vulnerable to attacks over time. Option A, the computer will automatically shut down after the EOL date, is incorrect because EOL operating systems don't automatically shut down. They continue functioning, but without updates. Option B, no new features will be added to the operating system, is incorrect because while the lack of new features is a limitation, it's not the primary security concern associated with EOL operating systems. Option D, hardware drivers will immediately stop functioning, is incorrect because existing hardware drivers will continue to function after EOL. They just won't receive updates for new vulnerabilities or compatibility with newer hardware. 16. A technician needs to dual boot Windows and Linux on a computer. Which file system should be used for the Linux partition? A. NTFS, B. FAT32, C. APFS, D. ext4. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: D. ext4. Explanation: Option D is correct because ext4 is the standard file system for modern Linux distributions and provides the best performance, reliability, and feature set for a Linux operating system. Option A, NTFS, is incorrect, because while Linux can read and write to NTFS with appropriate drivers, it's not an optimal file system for a Linux operating system installation. Option B, FAT32, is incorrect because FAT32 lacks important features for an operating system installation, such as permissions, journaling, and support for large files. Option C, in APFS, is incorrect because APFS is Apple's proprietary file system for Mac OS and iOS devices and is not compatible with Linux installations. (17) A technician plans to upgrade a computer from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Before proceeding, which factor should the technician check first? A. Available disk space. B. Hardware compatibility, TPM, CPU support. C. User preference settings. D. Application license keys. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: B. Hardware compatibility, TPM, CPU support. Explanation. Option B is correct because hardware compatibility is the most fundamental requirement for Windows 11. Without compatible hardware, specifically TPM 2.0 UEFI with secure boot and a supported CPU model, the upgrade cannot proceed regardless of other factors. Option A, available disk space, is incorrect because while available disk space is important, it's secondary to basic hardware compatibility. Without compatible hardware, the upgrade won't work even with sufficient space. Option C, user preference settings, is incorrect because user preference settings are important to preserve during an upgrade, but don't determine whether the upgrade can proceed at all. Option D, application license keys, is incorrect because while application license keys are important to have before reinstalling applications, they don't affect the initial OS upgrade compatibility. (18) A user with a small form factor computer needs to install Windows, but the system lacks an optical drive and cannot boot from USB. Which installation method would be most appropriate? A. Recovery partition. B. Network installation. C. Create a bootable partition on the internal hard drive. D. Windows to Go installation. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Create a bootable partition on the internal hard drive. Explanation. Option C is correct because creating a bootable partition on the internal hard drive with Windows installation files allows for installation without requiring external boot media. This method uses existing internal hardware when external boot options aren't available. Option A, recovery partition, is incorrect because a recovery partition would only be useful if Windows had been previously installed and the manufacturer had included such a partition. Option B, network installation, is incorrect because network installation requires PXE boot support, which may not be available if the system has limited boot options. Option D, Windows to Go installation, is incorrect because Windows to Go creates a portable Windows installation on a USB drive, which wouldn't help if the system cannot boot from USB. 19. A user wants to quickly search for files, launch applications, and perform calculations on their Mac. Which feature should they use? A. Finder. B. Spotlight. C. Mission Control. D. Launchpad. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. Spotlight. Explanation. Option B is correct because Spotlight, accessed by pressing Command plus space, is macOS's powerful search tool that can find files, launch applications, perform calculations, look up definitions, search the web, and more, all from a single interface. Option A, Finder, is incorrect because while Finder can search for files, it doesn't provide the quick access to applications, calculations, and web searches that Spotlight does. Option C, Mission Control, is incorrect because Mission Control shows all open windows and desktops for navigation, but doesn't provide search functionality. Option D, Launchpad, is incorrect because Launchpad displays installed applications in a grid view, similar to iOS but doesn't offer search capabilities beyond application names. Which macOS feature allows users to organize open windows into multiple virtual workspaces? A. Expose. B. Split. View. C. Spaces, multiple desktops. D. App Expose. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Spaces, multiple desktops. Explanation. Option C is correct because Spaces, commonly referred to as multiple desktops in the interface, is the macOS feature that allows users to create multiple virtual workspaces. Users can access this feature through Mission Control, add new desktops, and organize different applications and windows across these virtual workspaces. Option A, Expose, is incorrect because Expose, now part of Mission Control, shows all open windows, but doesn't organize them into separate workspaces. Option B, Split View, is incorrect because Split View allows two applications to share the screen in full screen mode, not create multiple workspaces. Option D, App Expose, is incorrect because App Expose shows all windows from a single application, not multiple virtual workspaces. A user needs to view the end of a continuously updating log file in real time. Which command is most appropriate for this task? A. Cat logfile.log. B. grep logfile.log. C. tail f logfile.log. D. less logfile.log. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. tail f logfile.log. Explanation. Option C is correct because tail f logfile.log displays the last few lines of a file and then continues to show new lines as they are added. The F flag stands for follow, making it perfect for monitoring log files in real time. Option A, cat logfile.log, is incorrect because cat displays the entire file content at once, but doesn't show updates in real time, and would be inefficient for large log files. Option B, grep logfile.log, is incorrect because grep searches for patterns in files, but doesn't continuously monitor for updates. Option D, less logfile.log, is incorrect because while less is a pager that allows scrolling through files, it doesn't automatically update to show new content as it's added to the file. A user discovers an app on their phone that appears to be a calculator, but is using excessive battery, requesting unusual permissions, and running constantly in the background. What does this most likely represent? A. A system utility that needs to be updated. B. A spoofed application disguising malicious activity. C. A cryptocurrency mining application. D. A legitimate calculator with programming functions. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. A spoofed application disguising malicious activity. Explanation. Option B is correct because the scenario describes classic signs of a spoofed application. An app that appears to be a simple utility, calculator, but exhibits behavior completely inconsistent with its apparent purpose. Excessive battery use, unusual permissions, and constant background activity from a calculator app strongly indicate it's disguising malicious functionality. Option A, a system utility that needs to be updated, is incorrect because system utilities would be pre-installed and recognizable as system components, rather than appearing as a calculator. Additionally, outdated system utilities typically don't exhibit the suspicious behavior described. Option C, a cryptocurrency mining application, is incorrect because while cryptocurrency mining could cause high battery usage and background activity, it wouldn't typically disguise itself specifically as a calculator app with unusual permissions. This answer is too specific when the broader issue of application spoofing better matches the scenario. Option D, a legitimate calculator with programming functions, is incorrect because even legitimate calculators with advanced programming functions wouldn't typically run constantly in the background or require unusual permissions. The behavior described is inconsistent with any legitimate calculator application. 23. A company issues laptops to traveling employees. Which security solution would most effectively provide centralized control of these devices when they're being used outside the corporate network? A. Group policy. B. Mobile device management. MDM. C. Access control lists. D. Security groups. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Mobile device management. MDM. Explanation. Option B is correct because mobile device management, MDM, is specifically designed to manage and secure devices remotely, even when they're outside the corporate network. MDM can enforce security policies, deploy applications, track inventory, and remotely wipe lost or stolen devices. Option A, group policy, is incorrect because group policy primarily applies to computers within a domain and has limited effectiveness for devices off the corporate network. Option C, access control lists, is incorrect because access control lists control permissions to resources but don't provide remote management of devices. Option D, security groups, is incorrect because security groups organize users for permission assignment but don't provide device management capabilities. 24. A financial institution needs to implement stronger authentication for its employees accessing sensitive financial data. Which authentication method provides the highest level of security? A. Complex passwords changed monthly. B. Smart cards. C. Multi-factor authentication using passwords and fingerprint scans. D. Key fobs with rotating access codes. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Multi-factor authentication, using passwords and fingerprint scans. Explanation. Option C is correct because multi-factor authentication using passwords and fingerprint scans combines two different authentication factors: something you know, password, and something you are. Using multiple factors provides significantly stronger security than any single factor alone. Option A, complex passwords changed monthly, is incorrect because passwords alone, even if complex and frequently changed, are still single-factor authentication. Option B, smart cards, is incorrect because smart cards are only single-factor authentication, something you have. Option D, key fobs with rotating access codes, is incorrect because key fobs are also single-factor authentication, something you have, though more secure than static passwords. 25. An organization wants to implement the strongest possible wireless security for their new network, where all devices support the latest standards. Which combination would provide the highest level of security? A. WPA2 Personal with TKIP encryption. B. WPA2 Enterprise with AES encryption and radius authentication. C. WPA3 Enterprise with AES encryption, radius and multi-factor authentication. D. WPA2 Personal with AES encryption and MAC address filtering. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. WPA3 Enterprise with AES encryption and multi-factor authentication. Explanation. Option C is correct because it combines the strongest current protocol, WPA3, with the strongest encryption, AES, centralized authentication, radius, and adds an additional security layer, multi-factor authentication. This represents the most comprehensive wireless security approach available. Option B, WPA2 Enterprise with AES encryption and radius authentication, is incorrect, because while this is a strong configuration, WPA3 provides additional security benefits over WPA2, like protection against offline dictionary attacks. Option A, WPA2 Personal with TKIP encryption, is incorrect, because WPA2 Personal offers less security than enterprise configurations, and TKIP is a weaker encryption algorithm than AES. Option D, WPA2 Personal with AES encryption and MAC address filtering, is incorrect because WPA2 Personal uses a shared key rather than individual authentication, and MAC address filtering is easily circumvented. (26) A healthcare organization needs a wireless authentication system that can integrate with their Windows Active Directory and provide single sign-on capabilities. Which authentication protocol would best meet these requirements? A. Radius. B. TCAX. Plus. C. Kerberos. D. PAP. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Kerberos. Explanation. Option C is correct because Kerberos is built into Windows Active Directory and provides ticket-based authentication with single sign-on capabilities. It's designed to work securely in Windows domain environments and allows users to authenticate once and access multiple services. Option A, Radius, is incorrect because while Radius can be integrated with Active Directory, it doesn't natively provide the single sign-on functionality that Kerberos does. Option B, TCAX Plus, is incorrect because TCAX Plus is primarily used for device administration rather than general network authentication and isn't natively integrated with Windows Active Directory. Option D, PAP, is incorrect because PAP, Password Authentication Protocol, is an older, insecure authentication protocol that transmits passwords in clear and doesn't provide single sign-on capabilities. 27. A technician is removing a particularly persistent malware infection that seems to reinstall itself after removal. Which boot option would be most effective for removing this type of malware? A. Last known good configuration. B. Safe mode with networking. C. Safe mode. D. Normal mode with administrative privileges. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Safe mode. Explanation. Option C is correct because safe mode starts Windows with minimal drivers and services, preventing most malware from automatically loading. This makes it easier to detect and remove persistent malware that might actively defend itself during normal operation. Option A, last known good configuration, is incorrect because last known good configuration only restores registry and driver configurations from the last successful boot, which wouldn't prevent persistent malware from loading. Option B, safe mode with networking, is incorrect because while safe mode with networking loads minimal services like safe mode, it also enables networking components, which could allow the malware to communicate with command servers or reinstall itself. Option D, normal mode with administrative privileges, is incorrect because running in normal mode, even with administrative privileges, would likely allow the persistent malware to load and defend itself during removal attempts. 28. After successfully removing malware from a system, which of the following should be done to help prevent future infections? A. Install a second antivirus program to run alongside the existing one. B. Disable Windows updates to prevent compatibility issues. C. Update and patch the operating system and applications. D. Disable user account control for easier software installation. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Update and patch the operating system and applications. Explanation: Option C is correct because updating and patching the operating system and applications closes security vulnerabilities that malware might exploit. Many malware infections occur through unpatched security flaws, so keeping software updated is a critical preventative measure. Option A, install a second antivirus program to run alongside the existing one, is incorrect because running two antivirus programs simultaneously often causes conflicts, system instability, and performance issues. Option B, disable Windows updates to prevent compatibility issues, is incorrect because disabling Windows updates would prevent security patches from being installed, making the system more vulnerable to malware. Option D, disable user account control for easier software installation, is incorrect because disabling user account control would remove an important security layer that prevents unauthorized software installation and system changes. 29. An IT department needs to demonstrate compliance with industry regulations regarding system access. Which of the following documentation elements should be implemented to meet this requirement? A. User acceptance testing documentation. B. System login. Splash screens with compliance notices. C. Network topology diagrams. D. Standard operating procedures for software installation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. System login. Splash screens with compliance notices. Explanation: Option B is correct because system login splash screens with compliance notices provide explicit notifications to users about monitoring, acceptable use, and regulatory requirements before they access systems. These notices establish user awareness and consent, which is often required for regulatory compliance related to system access. Option A, user acceptance testing documentation, is incorrect because user acceptance testing documentation relates to verifying that systems meet user requirements before deployment. While important for quality assurance, it doesn't directly address compliance requirements for system access. Option C, network topology diagrams, is incorrect because network topology diagrams show how network devices are connected and arranged. While they may support certain compliance documentation needs, they don't specifically address system access notifications required by many regulations. Option D, standard operating procedures for software installation, is incorrect because standard operating procedures for software installation provide step-by-step instructions for installing software. While SOPs support operational consistency, they don't directly fulfill the regulatory requirement to notify users about compliance expectations when accessing systems. 30. A coffee shop offers free Wi-Fi called coffeeshop_free. A customer notices there are two Wi-Fi networks with this exact name, but one has a stronger signal. This is likely what type of attack? A. Evil twin. B. On-path attack. C. Spoofing. D. Shoulder surfing. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: A. Evil twin. Explanation: Option A is correct because an evil twin attack creates a rogue wireless network with the same name as a legitimate one to intercept communications. The key indicators are the duplicate network name and the stronger signal. Attackers often use more powerful antennas to ensure victims connect to their fake network instead of the legitimate one. Option B, on-path attack, is incorrect because while an on-path attack might be the goal after establishing the evil twin, the scenario specifically describes the creation of the fake access point, which is the evil twin attack itself. Option C, spoofing, is incorrect because while network spoofing is involved, evil twin is the specific term for this type of Wi-Fi attack. Option D, shoulder surfing, is incorrect because shoulder surfing involves physically observing someone enter sensitive information, not creating fake networks. Struggling with your IT certification exams? We've all been there. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, your ultimate resource for IT exam success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 plus active students and an impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit MyITCerts.com today and take first step towards guarantee success. 31. A company wants to prevent malware from executing automatically when employees connect USB drives to their computers. Which security feature should be disabled? A. User account. Control. B. Windows. Defender. C. Auto run. D. Windows. Update. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Auto run. Explanation: Option C is correct because auto run is the feature that automatically executes programs on removable media when connected. Disabling auto run prevents malware on USB drives from launching automatically when the drive is inserted. Option A, user account control, is incorrect because user account control helps prevent unauthorized changes to system settings, and disabling it would reduce security, not enhance it. Option B, Windows Defender, is incorrect because Windows Defender is an antivirus solution that helps detect and remove malware. Disabling it would reduce protection. Option D, Windows Update, is incorrect because Windows Update provides security patches and updates. Disabling it would leave the system vulnerable to known security issues. (32) A Windows 10 Pro computer contains highly confidential files that must be protected, even if the computer is stolen. The computer doesn't have a TPM chip. Which of the following is the best approach? A. Store the files only on an external drive. B. Use BitLocker with a USB startup key. C. Enable the Windows firewall. D. Create a password-protected user account. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Use BitLocker with a USB startup key. Explanation: Option B is correct because BitLocker can still provide full disk encryption without a TPM by using a USB startup key, or a password, to store the encryption key. This protects the data even if the computer is stolen, as long as the USB key is stored separately. Option A, store the files only on an external drive, is incorrect because simply storing files on an external drive doesn't encrypt them, and the external drive could also be stolen. Option C, enable the Windows firewall, is incorrect because Windows Firewall protects against network-based threats, but provides no protection if the computer is physically stolen. Option D, create a password-protected user account, is incorrect because while password protection is important, it can be bypassed by removing the drive and accessing it from another system if the data isn't encrypted. (33) A financial services company requires employees to protect sensitive customer information. Which end-user practice is most effective for securing personally identifiable information, PII? A. Change passwords every 90 days. B. Lock computers when stepping away from desks. C. Log off completely at the end of the day. D. Use encrypted storage for files containing customer data. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Use encrypted storage for files containing customer data. Explanation. Option D is correct because encrypting files containing customer data, PII, provides protection that persists regardless of whether the user is present or not, and even if other security measures fail. This ensures the data remains protected at rest, which is crucial for sensitive financial information. Option A, change passwords every 90 days, is incorrect because improves account security, but doesn't directly protect stored PII. Option B, lock computers when stepping away from desks, is incorrect because protects data when users are away briefly but doesn't secure the data itself. Option C, log off completely at the end of the day, is incorrect because is good security practice but only protects against unauthorized access when users are away for extended periods. (34) An IT administrator discovers that several workstations have been infected with malware that spread through USB drives. Which security measure would best prevent this type of infection in the future? A. Install antivirus software on all workstations. B. Disable auto-run and autoplay features. C. Implement account lockout policies. D. Enable BitLocker encryption. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Disable auto-run and autoplay features. Explanation. Option B is correct because disabling auto-run and autoplay prevents Windows from automatically executing programs or displaying options when removable media is inserted. This directly addresses the infection vector, USB drives, by requiring manual user action to open files, reducing the risk of automatic malware execution. Option A, install antivirus software on all workstations, is incorrect because helps detect and remove malware, but doesn't specifically prevent automatic execution from removable media. Option C, implement account lockout policies, is incorrect because prevents brute force password attacks, but doesn't address malware spread through removable media. Option D, enable BitLocker encryption, is incorrect because encrypts data, but doesn't prevent malware execution when media is inserted. (35) What is the most important reason to keep mobile device operating systems updated? A. To ensure compatibility with the newest applications. B. To improve device performance and battery life. C. To patch security vulnerabilities and protect against new threats. D. To access new features and user interface improvements. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. To patch security vulnerabilities and protect against new threats. Explanation. Option C is correct because security patches are the most critical aspect of OS updates. Updates fix known security vulnerabilities that could otherwise be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access to the device and its data. Option A, to ensure compatibility with the newest applications, is incorrect because while updates may improve app compatibility, this is secondary to the security benefits. Option B, to improve device performance and battery life, is incorrect because performance improvements, while beneficial, are less important than fixing security vulnerabilities. Option D, to access new features and user interface improvements, is incorrect because new features and UI improvements are convenience benefits rather than critical security necessities. An organization allows employees to bring their own devices, BYOD, for work. Which of the following represents the greatest security concern with this approach? A. Employees might use different models of smartphones. B. Personal devices may run outdated operating systems without security patches. C. Configuring email will be different on each platform. D. Personal devices might have different screen sizes. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Personal devices may run outdated operating systems without security patches. Explanation. Option B is correct because devices with outdated operating systems lack critical security patches and are vulnerable to known exploits. Personal devices that no longer receive security updates represent a significant security risk when accessing company data. Option A, employees might use different models of smartphones, is incorrect because while different models create management complexity, this is primarily an administrative challenge rather than a security concern. Option C, configuring email will be different on each platform, is incorrect because email configuration differences are a minor technical issue and not a significant security concern. Option D, personal devices might have different screen sizes, is incorrect because different screen sizes affect usability but have no impact on security. 37. An employee accidentally dropped their company laptop, causing the hard drive to fail. The drive contains sensitive company intellectual property but cannot be accessed normally. What is the most appropriate next step to ensure data security? A. Attempt to repair the drive to perform a secure wipe. B. Store the failed drive indefinitely in a secure location. C. Physically destroy the drive through shredding or crushing. D. Perform a standard format on the drive. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Physically destroy the drive through shredding or crushing. Explanation. Option C is correct because physical destruction through shredding or crushing is the most secure option for failed drives that cannot be wiped using software methods. Since the drive contains sensitive intellectual property but cannot be accessed, physical destruction ensures the data cannot be recovered if the drive were repaired later. Option A, attempt to repair the drive to perform a secure wipe, is incorrect because attempting to repair the drive introduces unnecessary risk. If repair is successful, the data could be accessed before wiping occurs, potentially exposing the intellectual property. Option B, store the failed drive indefinitely in a secure location, is incorrect because storing the failed drive indefinitely creates an ongoing security liability without resolving the issue, and may lead to the drive being forgotten about or misplaced over time. Option D, perform a standard format on the drive, is incorrect because a standard format cannot be performed on a failed drive that can't be accessed normally, making this option technically impossible in the given scenario. A governmental department is upgrading their computers that contain classified information. Which of the following represents the correct order of operations for securely preparing the old hard drives for disposal? A. Standard format, low-level format, physical destruction, documentation. B. Data backup, secure wiping, physical destruction, certification of destruction. C. Degaussing, drilling, recycling, filing paperwork. D. Disk encryption, standard format, donation to schools, documentation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Data backup, secure wiping, physical destruction, certification of destruction. Explanation. Option B is correct because it follows a logical and secure sequence. First backing up any needed data, then performing secure wiping to remove the classified information, followed by physical destruction to ensure no recovery is possible, and finally obtaining certification to document the process for compliance with government regulations. Option A. Standard format, low-level format, physical destruction, documentation is incorrect because standard and low-level formatting alone don't securely remove data, and the process lacks a backup step before destruction. Option C. Degaussing, drilling, recycling, filing paperwork is incorrect, because while the methods are destructive, degaussing and drilling may not be the most secure for all types of classified information, and the sequence lacks proper documentation for classified material disposal. Option D. Disk encryption, standard format, donation to schools. Documentation is incorrect because encryption followed by standard formatting doesn't remove the data, just makes it harder to access, and donating devices that contained classified government information would be a serious security violation even after formatting. (39) A home user notices that their internet performance drops significantly every evening. After investigating, they discover 10 neighboring networks all using the same wireless channel. Which of the following actions should they take to improve their network performance? A. Increase the router's transmission power to maximum. B. Change to a channel with less interference. C. Switch from 5 GHz to 2.4 GHz band to get better range. D. Enable UPnP to optimize connection speed. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: B. Change to a channel with less interference. Explanation. Option B is correct because changing to a less congested channel reduces interference from neighboring networks. Wireless channels are like lanes on a highway. When too many networks use the same channel, they interfere with each other, causing slower performance and disconnections. Option A, increase the router's transmission power to maximum, is incorrect because increasing transmission power may actually worsen the problem by causing more interference with neighboring networks. It can also extend your network's range beyond your property, potentially creating security concerns. Option C, switch from 5 GHz to 2.4 GHz band to get better range, is incorrect because switching from 5 GHz to 2.4 GHz would likely make the problem worse. The 2.4 GHz band has fewer available channels and typically experiences more interference from other devices. The 5 GHz band generally offers more channels and less congestion. Option D, enable UPnP to optimize connection speed, is incorrect because UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, has nothing to do with wireless interference or channel selection. UPnP is related to automatic port forwarding for applications, not wireless performance, and enabling it would introduce security vulnerabilities without addressing the channel congestion issue. 40. A small business has a server hosting their inventory database. The IT technician wants to ensure only specific authorized computers can access this server. Which of the following security measures would best accomplish this goal? A. Change the default SSID of the wireless network. B. Configure IP filtering to allow only specific device addresses. C. Disable SSID broadcast on the wireless network. D. Enable UPnP on the router. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Configure IP filtering to allow only specific device addresses. Explanation. Option B is correct because IP filtering, or MAC filtering, restricts network access to only devices with approved IP addresses. This creates a whitelist of specific authorized computers that can access the server, preventing other devices on the network from connecting to it, even if they have network access. Option A, change the default SID of the wireless network, is incorrect because changing the SSID only renames the wireless network and doesn't restrict which devices on that network can access particular servers. Once a device connects to the network, it generally has access to all resources unless additional restrictions are implemented. Option C, disable SSID broadcast on the wireless network, is incorrect because disabling SSID broadcast only hides the network name from being easily discovered. It doesn't provide any access control once devices are connected to the network, and doesn't restrict which network devices can access specific servers. Option D, enable UPnP on the router, is incorrect because enabling UPnP would actually decrease security by allowing devices to automatically configure port forwards. UPnP is a security vulnerability that could potentially allow unauthorized access to the server, rather than restricting it. 41. A small business employee wants to install a browser extension that claims to monitor for sales and automatically apply coupon codes during checkout. Which of the following should be the first consideration before installing this extension? A. Whether the extension has a colorful, attractive icon. B. If the extension comes from the browser's official extension store with good reviews. C. If the extension will make online shopping more convenient. D. Whether the website offering the direct download looks professional. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. If the extension comes from the browser's official extension store with good reviews. Explanation. Option B is correct because extensions from official stores undergo some security vetting, and user reviews can highlight potential issues. This is the first security check that should be performed, as official stores provide a basic level of security screening compared to other sources. Option A, whether the extension has a colorful, attractive icon, is incorrect because an attractive icon has no relation to an extension's security or legitimacy. Malicious extensions can have professional-looking icons. Option C, if the extension will make online shopping more convenient, is incorrect because convenience should not be prioritized over security. Extensions that monitor shopping behavior typically require extensive permissions that could compromise privacy and security. Option D, whether the website offering the direct download looks professional, is incorrect because even professional-looking websites can distribute malicious extensions. Direct downloads outside of official stores bypass security checks and are generally riskier regardless of website appearance. 42. A user wants to shop for a surprise gift on a shared family computer without other family members seeing their browsing activity. Which browser feature should they use? A. Ad blocker. B. Private browsing mode. C. Password manager. D. Pop-up blocker. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Private browsing mode. Explanation. Option B is correct because private browsing mode, called incognito in Chrome, private browsing in Firefox, etc., doesn't save browsing history, searches, cookies, or form entries after the session is closed. This prevents other users of the same computer from seeing which sites were visited. Option A, ad blocker, is incorrect because ad blockers prevent advertisements from displaying but don't hide browsing activity from other users of the same computer. Option C, password manager, is incorrect because password managers securely store login credentials but don't hide browsing history or searches from other users. Option D, pop-up blocker, is incorrect because pop-up blockers prevent unwanted windows from opening but don't hide browsing activity or history from other users of the same computer. 43. A user can't print to their network printer. When checking services, the technician notices that the print spooler service is stopped and attempts to start it, but it immediately stops again. Which of the following is the most appropriate next troubleshooting step? A. Reinstall the printer drivers. B. Check Event Viewer for specific error messages related to the print spooler. C. Reset the TCP IP stack using netsh commands. D. Reimage the computer to fix the corrupted operating system. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Check Event Viewer for specific error messages related to the print spooler. Explanation. Option B is correct because when a service starts and then immediately stops, there's usually a specific error causing the failure. Event Viewer logs these errors with detailed information about why the service failed to start, which provides critical diagnostic information to address the root cause of the print spooler issue. Option A, reinstall the printer drivers, is incorrect because reinstalling printer drivers is premature without knowing why the print spooler service is failing. The print spooler service needs to be running before printer drivers can function properly, so this approach doesn't address the underlying service failure. Option C, reset the TCP IP stack using netsh commands, is incorrect because resetting the TCP IP stack addresses network communication issues, but won't resolve a print spooler service that fails to start. The print spooler is a local service that can fail for many reasons unrelated to network configuration. Option D, reimage the computer to fix the corrupted operating system, is incorrect because reimaging the computer is an extreme measure that should only be considered after exhausting troubleshooting options. This would be unnecessarily disruptive and time-consuming for what might be a simple configuration issue or corrupted print job. 44. After installing a new graphics-intensive game, a user's computer randomly freezes and sometimes restarts when playing the game. Other applications work normally. Which of the following tools would be most helpful in diagnosing this issue? A. System File Checker, SFC. B. Task Manager's Performance tab. C. Disk Defragmenter. D. Windows Memory Diagnostic. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Task Manager's Performance tab. Explanation. Option B is correct because Task Manager's Performance tab allows monitoring of system resources, CPU, memory, disk, GPU, in real time while the game is running. This would help identify if the game is causing resource exhaustion, overheating via high CPU, GPU utilization, or other performance bottlenecks that could lead to freezing or crashes. Option A, System File Checker, SFC, is incorrect because System File Checker, SFC, checks for corrupted Windows system files, but the problem appears application-specific, only occurs with the new game. SFC wouldn't address issues related to hardware limitations or resource constraints when running a demanding application. Option C, Disk Defragmenter, is incorrect because disk fragmentation is unlikely to cause freezes or restarts, specifically during a graphics-intensive game. Fragmentation might cause slower loading times, but wouldn't typically result in system instability only during gameplay. Option D, Windows Memory Diagnostic, is incorrect because while memory issues could cause system instability, the specific correlation with a graphics-intensive game suggests GPU, driver, or resource constraints, rather than memory corruption. Task Manager would be more useful as an initial diagnostic since it monitors all system resources, including memory usage. 45. After installing a new security application, a user cannot connect to any websites despite having a working internet connection. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The computer has been infected with malware. B. The security software's firewall is blocking connections. C. The user's ISP is experiencing an outage. D. Windows updates have corrupted network drivers. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. The security software's firewall is blocking connections. Explanation. Option B is correct because new security applications often configure their firewalls with very restrictive default settings until properly configured. This commonly results in blocked internet access, despite having a functional connection at the hardware level, especially immediately after installation. Option A, the computer has been infected with malware, is incorrect because the timing of the problem, immediately after installing security software, strongly suggests the security application is responsible rather than malware. Malware infections typically don't coincide precisely with legitimate software installations. Option C, the user's ISP is experiencing an outage, is incorrect because the scenario indicates the computer has a working internet connection, which wouldn't be the case during an ISP outage. Option D, Windows updates have corrupted network drivers, is incorrect because corrupted network drivers would typically affect the connection at a more fundamental level rather than just website access. Additionally, the timing correlates with the security software installation, not with Windows updates. (46) A Windows computer is displaying a warning in the taskbar stating no antivirus software detected despite having a third-party antivirus installed and running. Which of the following is the most likely cause? A. The antivirus software has been compromised by malware. B. Windows is not properly detecting the third-party antivirus. C. The third-party antivirus is outdated and needs updating. D. Multiple antivirus programs are creating a conflict. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Windows is not properly detecting the third-party antivirus. Explanation. Option B is correct because Windows Security Center sometimes fails to properly detect third-party antivirus products, especially after Windows updates, or if the security software hasn't properly registered itself with the system. This creates a false alert, while the antivirus continues functioning normally. Option A, the antivirus software has been compromised by malware, is incorrect because if the antivirus was compromised by malware, it would likely show other symptoms beyond just a Windows notification, and the antivirus itself might not appear to be running properly. Option C, the third-party antivirus is outdated and needs updating, is incorrect because an outdated antivirus would still be recognized by Windows as being installed, even if definitions were out of date. Windows would typically show a warning about outdated definitions rather than claiming no antivirus is present. Option D, multiple antivirus programs are creating a conflict, is incorrect because multiple antivirus programs would cause conflicts between the programs themselves, but Windows would detect their presence rather than reporting no antivirus software at all. 47. A technician has successfully removed malware from a system. What should be the last step in the CompTIA A malware removal process? A. Enable system. Restore and create a restore point. B. Educate the end user. C. Perform a final scan to verify removal. D. Schedule regular scans and updates. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Educate the end user. Explanation. Option B is correct because educating the end user is the seventh and final step in the CompTIA malware removal process. This ensures users understand how the infection occurred and how to prevent future incidents, addressing the human element of security. Option A. Enable system. Restore and create a restore point is incorrect because enabling system restore and creating a restore point is step 6 in the process, not the final step. It should be done after successful remediation and scheduling ongoing protection, but before user education. Option C. Perform a final scan to verify removal is incorrect because verification scanning is part of step 4, remediate infected systems, not a separate final step. Verification should be completed before scheduling updates or re-enabling system restore. Option D. Schedule regular scans and updates is incorrect because scheduling regular scans and updates is step 5 in the process. It should be done after remediation, but before re-enabling system restore and educating the user. (48) During malware removal, a technician has booted a computer into safe mode but is still unable to remove a particularly persistent infection. What should the technician try next? A. Reinstall the operating system without backing up user data. B. Use a specialized pre-boot environment from rescue media. C. Connect the computer back to the network to download better tools. D. Enable system. Restore and roll back to a previous restore point. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Use a specialized pre-boot environment from rescue media. Explanation. Option B is correct because the proper escalation path for malware removal is normal mode, safe mode, pre-boot environment. When safe mode scanning is unsuccessful, using bootable rescue media to scan from outside the installed operating system is the next appropriate step, as it provides complete isolation from the infection. Option A, reinstall the operating system without backing up user data, is incorrect, because reinstalling the operating system without attempting pre-boot scanning is premature and should only be considered after all removal methods have failed. It also unnecessarily risks data loss by not backing up user data. Option C, connect the computer back to the network to download better tools, is incorrect because reconnecting an infected computer to the network introduces the risk of malware spreading. Downloads should be performed from a clean system and transferred via USB after proper scanning of the media. Option D, enable system restore and roll back to a previous restore point, is incorrect because system restore should remain disabled during the remediation process. Additionally, restore points might contain infected files, so rolling back could reintroduce the malware rather than removing it. (49) A mobile device is running extremely slowly, with delayed responses to screen touches and apps taking a long time to launch. Which of the following troubleshooting steps would be most effective to try first? A. Factory reset the device. B. Clear system cache. C. Close background applications. D. Update the operating system. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Close background applications. Explanation. Option C is correct because closing background applications is a quick, simple, non-destructive first step that often improves performance immediately. Too many apps running in the background commonly causes performance issues by consuming limited system resources, RAM, CPU. Option A. factory reset the device, is incorrect because a factory reset is an extreme measure that should only be attempted after trying many less disruptive solutions. This would erase all user data and should never be a first troubleshooting step for performance issues. Option B, clear system cache, is incorrect because while clearing system cache can help performance, it's a more involved process than simply closing background apps and should be tried if the simpler solution doesn't work. On many devices, this requires booting into recovery mode. Option D, update the operating system, is incorrect because updating the operating system is a significant change that takes time, requires good connectivity and battery life, and carries some risk. While updates can fix performance bugs, they're not the quickest or safest first step for addressing slowness. 50. A user reports that their smartphone randomly reboots several times a day, particularly when using navigation apps. What troubleshooting step would be most helpful in determining if this is a hardware or software issue? A. Reset network settings. B. Boot the device in safe mode. C. Install the latest OS update. D. Perform a hard reset of the device. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Boot the device in safe mode. Explanation. Option B is correct because booting in safe mode disables all third-party applications while keeping the core system running. If the random reboots stop in safe mode, this confirms a third-party app is causing the issue, software problem. If reboots continue in safe mode, it suggests a system or hardware issue. Option A, reset network settings, is incorrect because resetting network settings would only help if the problem was specifically related to network configurations. The fact that reboots occur during navigation apps might suggest a connectivity component, but a network reset wouldn't help diagnose whether it's a hardware or software issue. Option C, install the latest OS update, is incorrect because installing the latest OS update might fix the problem if it's a known software bug, but it doesn't help diagnose whether the issue is hardware or software related. It's also a more significant change to make before proper diagnosis. Option D, perform a hard reset of the device, is incorrect because a hard reset, factory reset, is too extreme as a diagnostic step. This would erase all data and should only be considered after the cause is identified and less drastic measures have failed. You have reached the end of our question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at MyITCerts.com, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. You can study completely free using our study materials and questions and ace your exams with confidence. Thank you for studying with us today. See you in the next video.